I was 14 and I think you were 15. Do you think we were younger?
I was 15, 16, definitely. Anyway, we were at a house party.
Yeah, we can't decide whether it was Dave or Mick's house because they're the same street.
Yeah.
So we were there.
But we didn't know each other, did we?
I'd never seen you before.
Yeah, we went to totally different schools. It used to be a bit of a ritual that every Friday, Saturday we used to drink around there.
Sorry, Mum.
Yeah. As bad as it sounds, our parents pretty much used to get us drink, listen to music and play games, that sort of stuff.
There's darts as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
So you were there with like Dave and all the lads from football, and I went with my friend Gemma, who's actually now changed her name to Grace. So, and we just went with, well, I think Gemma had a thing for Dave at the time, so she invited me along, but you were there anyway.
Yeah, we were there.
And I remember going up, like upstairs and seeing him for the first time and being like, oh, I quite like him. So I told Gemma, who's now Grace.
I hadn't even noticed you though, had I?
No, you hadn't really seen me.
No, but yeah. And then we were totally set up when one of my friends basically came up to me and said, oh, this girl in that room really, really likes you. And he went up to her and said, this lad really, really likes you. We hadn't even seen each other.
Didn't even know your name.
No.
Didn't know your name.
No, but apparently we were in love with each other off the cousin of my friend. So.
Yeah, so you were just sat on the bed, weren't you? And I just went in and we just started kissing each other. It was just, I don't know, a bit random. Then you were like, he was dead gentleman and walked me home and we just chatted. Well, I say we chatted, I probably just blagged his head for the whole way back because I would have just been, you would have listened to me. And then we got to my house and then you asked me for my number, didn't you? Yeah. And then I think as soon as I got in the door, my phone pinged and he texted me saying, will you be my girlfriend? So I did quite well.
Romantic.
Yeah, very romantic. So obviously I said yes, so...
First kiss was probably the night we met. Within 5 minutes of seeing each other.
Yeah.
And before I knew your name, I'd kissed you.
Yeah, I don't think I knew your name.
Still together. So
must have been quite a good one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, can't have been too bad.
Obviously I was young, but when we separated I was hurt. So I think I didn't want to like open myself up for that straight away. So I used to like use me being at dancing as a bit of an excuse. I was there 4 or 5 days a week. So I was genuinely really busy, but I just, I made him work for it, basically, to try and win me back.
Initially, she was very bland on the text messages, phone calls, things like that. And with her being at home at the time, I thought, I'll be a little bit soppy and write a letter. So I just wrote her a letter and I think it was just general crack. It wasn't anything special. It was just asking how her day had been and saying that if this is the only way I can speak to her, then that's fine. Put that through the door and then thankfully she replied. And then it just went on from there and it seemed like that's how our communication was for quite a while, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then I think it got to the point where we were both a little bit excited sometimes to come home from work or dancing even though we weren't back together. And we still probably weren't that, well, you probably weren't that into me then. You were a little bit excited to come home to read what I'd put in a letter or just to see what it was about, really.
I used to sort of like say to my friends, like the girls, I'd be like, oh, I wonder, they'd be like sort of, I wonder if he's wrote you a letter, and then like as soon as I got in the door, I'd be like, Mum, has he wrote to me? And I did write you them.
I haven't got them.
I know you haven't got them because you chucked them. He didn't want his gran and granddad finding them, so he binned them.
Seems a little bit one-sided, this.
I wasn't going to reply to myself, was that?
Yeah.
You were never for marriage at all.
No, never.
Like, we nearly separated at one point because of it, because he was like, I'm not getting married ever. And I said, well, what's the point?
Yeah. I was
we had to have that chat.
Yeah.
It was a good few years ago.
It was, yeah. Because I was always more down the family route of having children, and because every relationship I've known's been a failed marriage, apart from like our grandparents' eras, my mum, my dad, your mum, your dad, obviously. Just everyone was a failed marriage, and I didn't want to be in that little statistic. So I was always, no, marriage isn't for me. I don't want it. Obviously, I appreciate it at the time you did. You massively did. So
I wanted the big white wedding and stuff, didn't I?
Yeah. At that time, you were dead set against kids, weren't you? Without.
I was trying to push on the getting married first before we had children, but it didn't happen that way around. But I never thought that we would get married. I think a little bit of myself accepted that we wouldn't. So that's why I was so shocked when he did propose. I wasn't expecting it. I know some people do, don't they? They expect it's going to come at some point, but I never actually did. So that was why it was such a big shock when he asked me.
For me, at the time, marriage was just a name in a little bit of paper, and it didn't really mean too much to me. So, but I knew she wanted it, and I think it's every girl's dream to want the big white wedding. So that sort of mindset came in, and I thought down the route of having kids in the future, even down the little finer things of names, she wanted the same name as the child and things like that. So, and it was my own stubbornness, I think, that was saying no marriage, when really
it probably changed more when I fell pregnant as well.
Yeah.
Because I think I was about 10 weeks pregnant when you asked me. So, but I thought he'd asked me because I was pregnant, but apparently he'd been planning it for a while. So I think he'd spoke to my dad, hadn't you?
Yeah.
He'd spoke to my dad, and I think he was showing my mum pictures of rings, and I'm not sure who else knew. Yeah. So apparently it'd been in the pipeline a lot longer than what I just thought it was, because we were having a...
It was a combination of everything though, wasn't it? We were planning a family as well.
We'd got our house together and stuff, so we were committed, and I think it was the next step, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I'd had the idea that I was going to propose, and I'm not out there at all, so it was never going to be anything all singing, all dancing, which I'm sure you would have probably loved. But no, I'd mentioned to her mum that I was thinking about it, and not knowing anything about rings and ring sizes, so I'd asked her to help scope it out and find out what ring size she was, etc. And I'd looked at a few rings, and then I thought I'd be all traditional and ask her dad, which a lot of people don't do now, do they? But
no, I think he appreciated that.
That was more nerve-wracking than anything. So I went to his work and I'd said basically what the crack was. I want to ask Emma to marry her. And I was thinking, what's he going to say? Is he no, yes? Not that it would have mattered, because I would have still, done it anyway.
I don't think he would have ever would have said no.
No, but luckily he shook my hand and said he was proud to have me as a, let me think of this, son-in-law.
Yeah.
I'm quite chilled about it, but I think
you're chilled anyway.
Yeah, I'm quite a chilled person, but I think it's mainly because you've got it all in hand. Yeah. I'm sort of taking the back seat a little bit. I'm turning up on the flight and turning up on the wedding day. I think that's pretty much my role. I will be nervous on the day, not so much for the wedding. I think it's more the speeches and the public speaking I don't like. But as far as the wedding goes, I'm quite chilled out about it. I just hope it runs smoothly. Which
you can't really control, really, can you?
No, it's going to be on the day. But
I think I'm just getting it's just starting to feel real now.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's getting closer. Yeah, I think because we've had such a busy year. We only moved into this house in we moved in November, I think it was. He's got a new job and stuff, so you just changed your job with that, and we've had Ella's birthday, and I've been so busy with the dance school and stuff, so everything's just sort of ticked over the year. And then now that it's getting closer and everything busy wise has stopped, it's sort of it's here now. So it's just getting all the last minute bits sorted and what have you, but it is getting exciting. So I've got my hen do next weekend, and you've got your stag do the weekend after. So that's all exciting, and just getting all the last bits sorted really. But I'm used to organising stuff, I've got it in my head how it's all going to go. So hopefully it'll just be perfect. But if it's not, then it's not the end of the world, because we're going to be getting married and becoming a proper family, so that's all that matters really.
To my beautiful daughter Emma on your wedding day, 31st of August 2017. Emma, as you're walking down the aisle, I hope you see I'm wearing a smile. My pride joy will be hard to hide, my little girl and beautiful bride. Love you always,
I love how I can't get mad at you for too long. You always manage to win me back around. You're so annoying. He's some sand to annoy you, then get everywhere. Scatter that. I love every single piece of you, from your eyes to your smile to your bum. You are ace.
Stephen, to be my husband,
my partner in life,
my partner in life,
and my one true love.
and my one true love.
I pledge to share my life with you,
I pledge to share my life with you
so that we grow old together.
so that we grow old together.
I promise to cherish our union
I promise to cherish our union
and love you more each day
and love you more each day
than I did the day before.
than I did the day before.
I will trust you and respect you,
I will trust you and respect you,
laugh with you and cry with you,
laugh with you and cry with you,
loving you faithfully
loving you faithfully
through good times and bad.
through good times and bad.
I give you my hand,
I give you my hand,
my heart and my love.
my heart and my love.
This day forward,
From this day forward,
for as long as we live.
for as long as we both shall live.
Emma, I give you this ring
As a symbol of my love
as a symbol of my love
and commitment to you,
and commitment to you
in front of our family
in front of our family
and friends here present.
and friends here present.
As I place it on your finger,
As I place it on your finger,
I commit my heart and soul to you.
I commit my heart and soul to you.
With this ring,
With this ring,
I ask you to be my wife and best friend.
I ask you to be my wife and best friend.
Stephen, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love
as a symbol of my love
and commitment to you,
and commitment to you.
in front of our family
In front of our family,
and friends here present,
friends here present.
as I place it on your finger,
As I place it on your finger,
I commit my heart and soul to you.
I commit my heart and soul to you.
With this ring,
With this ring,
I ask you to be my husband and best friend.
I ask you to be my husband and best friend.
From this moment on, when you are joined in matrimony by your own free will, you are beholden to love, trust and respect each other for the rest of your lives. Let it be known that this marriage unites both of you, and from this day forth, you will confront the future together on an equal basis, working on any issues that may arise when you are living together as a married couple, and generally on any problems that life may present.
From this day forth, you both have the responsibility of financial support and of helping each other to the best of your ability with all expenses that may occur as a family. Finally, it is your utmost duty and right for the both of you to take responsibility for the upbringing and education of your children, so that they therefore become useful, honest citizens and, of course, free individuals. Stephen and Emma, today you are making
A lifelong commitment to share the rest of your lives with each other. Your relationship is symbolised through the pouring of these two individual containers of sand, each representing all that you were, all that you are, and all that you will ever be. Each one holds its own unique beauty, strength, and character. They can stand on their own and be whole without the need of anything else. But when the two are blended together, they represent an entirely new and extraordinary love relationship. Each grain of sand brings to the mixture a lasting beauty that forever enriches the combination. As you each hold your sand, the separate containers of sand represent your lives to this moment, individual and unique. As you now combine your sand together, your lives also join together as one. You may now blend the sand together, symbolising the uniting of the bride and groom into one. For the two shall become one, just as these grains of sand can never be separated and poured again into the individual containers, so will your marriage be. With the exchanging of these vows and the giving of the rings, I can now pronounce you husband and wife. Congratulations, you may kiss the bride.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Williams.
Firstly, I have to thank you for turning up today, because this speech would be massively awkward if you hadn't. So that was brilliant. I have to say, you look absolutely beautiful today and stunning. I couldn't have asked for a more beautiful bride. Unbelievable. A lot of people know the story of when me and Emma met, but basically we were 16-year-old and drunk at a house party. It's pretty classy, but as a young hormonal teenager, the last thing on my mind at the time was, in 12 years, I will marry this girl. To be honest, the last thing on my mind was even a name. I didn't care. But as we got to know each other, it became very clear very quickly that we absolutely hated everything each other liked. We are the term opposites attract couldn't be more applicable to me and Emma. She's like socialising, she gets on with everyone, she's amazing, she loves dancing, and I don't do any of them things. So, yeah, but something clicked, and 12 years later, we're sat here with a beautiful daughter and amazing family and friends around us. Marriage was always a bit of a dodgy subject for me and Emma. From the early days, I was never a fan of it. But she always dreamed of the big day, the big dress, the fancy location and everything to come with it. Most importantly, having our daughter's name. Me, I was a fan of deep hole in a kebab. So we were two very different people. But I have to admit, she's done an amazing job today, and along with Angela, to organise this, because I have played no part whatsoever, other than just standing here now. This is my role. So without boring you and cracking on, if you could raise a toast to my beautiful wife, Emma.
I love you so much, Emma, and I'm so happy for you. To have your fairy tale day, no one deserves it more than you do. There's no one in my life more like a sister to me. Seeing you so happy just fills me with glee. And Stephen, your face when you saw her today, that's pure love right there, nothing more you can say. You guys are soulmates, friends, and the best parents to Ella. All in all, Stephen, she picked a good fella. I thought long and hard about which Emma stories to tell, but with so many to choose from, it was not going well. I could have gone with one where she mixed up her words and left everyone there in hysterics, but given the classics that I had to choose from, those all just felt way too generic. I thought maybe mention the time the flat tyre was fine, because it was just flat at the bottom. Or when she had to go back to the drive-through to collect the food she'd just forgotten. Then there was also the one where she jumped in the car and wondered why Steve was now some random lady. But she didn't get out, she just sat there and talked to the woman who clearly thought Emma was crazy. There's so many more, but we'd be here forever, so I'll move swiftly on to how these two got together. To be honest with you, I can't tell you much. I wasn't actually there on that night. But the story I'm told is also romantic and involves a version of love at first sight. Although since that night they've spent some time apart, it was clear to all Emma still had Stephen's heart. He'd write her sweet letters that would brighten her day. "How are you two not together?" you'd hear us all say. He was always there for Emma in any time of need, to talk to and laugh with. "Give him a chance," we would plead. He was her shoulder to cry on and her best male friend. I think we all knew where this one would end. And when the day finally came that they got back together, it was clear to see that their love would last forever. Fast forward a few years and Emma has little Ella in her tummy. Finally Steve realised he should marry this yummy mummy. So with diamond in hand and on one knee, Stephen knew that soon there'd be a day he'd be saying "I do." I think I speak for us all when I say have a wonderful life on this new road together as husband and wife. So please be upstanding to send them good wishes. Raise your glasses to Stephen and Emma, now Mr. and Mrs.